Easy answer.
We're gonna sit right next to each other. She's gonna make me a drink.
So you're going to make me. Listen to those words again. That is the sound of a performance, the exhausted sigh of someone forced to play a role they never auditioned for. The mainstream sports media, in a desperate bid to protect its golden goose, is force-feeding you a Hollywood script, a feel-good story about the unbreakable, wholesome bond between superstar Caitlin Clark and her loyal teammate, Lexie Hull. They've built an entire cottage industry on this lie, flooding your feeds with curated moments of laughter and staged support. But while their propaganda machine works overtime, we've been following the evidence. We've been watching the moments they cut from the final edit. You've all seen the haunting image they can't scrub from the internet. Caitlin Clark sitting on the bench, completely isolated, with a towel draped over her head like a shroud. An image of a player looking, as eyewitness reporters described it, utterly defeated. That is not a fabrication. That is the devastating reality. Today we don't just peel back the curtain, we tear it down. This is the story of how the crushing, suffocating pressure of fame has turned a locker room into a toxic wasteland, forcing teammates to flee for their own emotional survival. This is the evidence that Caitlin Clark's friendships are not just crumbling, they are already dust. This is the truth about why she is now, for all intents and purposes, completely and utterly alone. To comprehend the sheer scale of this abandonment, you must first appreciate the elaborate blueprint of the lie. Channels dedicated to wholesome moments present a masterclass in misdirection. They show you Clark and Hull at a drive-thru, laughing about free drinks. They show you Clark leading a goofy birthday serenade for Hull in the locker room. They build a narrative of two young women navigating the pressures of fame together as inseparable partners. They will point to quotes from Lexie Hull, presenting them as proof of this unbreakable bond.
They'll just throw out comments that are just funny. Like, no one else is saying it but Caitlin. Once we found out we had the #1 pick, and once Caitlin declared, that kind of changed things, I think, for the city a little bit. People were just so excited to come support the Fever. We felt that in our preseason games. We felt that even on draft night, we filled Gamebridge, which felt crazy. Like, we're not even doing anything in Gamebridge, and people are excited to watch the screen and see who we draft.
I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. On the surface, it's the perfect soundbite, but it hides a dark, unspoken contract. This isn't the description of a friendship, it's the job description for an emotional manager. Declassified reports from inside the Fever locker room paint a grim picture, with sources stating that veteran players spent a lot of their energy managing Caitlin Clark's emotions on the court. This wasn't a partnership. It was a team-wide, emotionally draining project to keep a volatile superstar from imploding. Hull's own words about Clark's ferocious competitiveness are a chilling tell. After praising her will to win, she adds a crucial warning, and you definitely want her on your side. For a time, her teammates tried to stay on her side, walking on eggshells to keep the peace. But a shocking act of public betrayal made it clear that their loyalty would never be returned. The abandonment was about to begin. The first fracture in this carefully constructed reality wasn't a rumor, it was a public execution. While Clark was sidelined with an injury, nursing her frustrations, Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham did something unforgivably normal. They posted fun, light-hearted bikini photos online. Clark's response was not that of a friend. It was a cold, calculated power play delivered for the entire world to see. She commented publicly, "Swimsuit brands, please comment, focus on basketball." In one move, she publicly shamed her teammates, branding them as unprofessional distractions, while positioning herself as the sole standard-bearer of seriousness. It was a stunning act of alienation. The response from Cunningham was swift and furious, a now-deleted comment that exposed the raw nerve Clark had hit. "Maybe a brand will make a full-body wetsuit for your pale ass too. We all win." That is the language of betrayal. That is the moment her teammates received the message loud and clear. "You are disposable assets in my brand's empire. You do not abandon a friend over a photograph. You abandon a tyrant." This was Exhibit A. Once you see this act of public shaming, the subtle hierarchies and toxic dynamics become impossible to unsee. You start to understand that this isn't a team, it's a kingdom. And Clark sits on the throne. Even her praise is laced with a sense of superiority, a queen bestowing favor upon her subjects.
This is good.
Do the raspberry dream with vanilla cream instead of coconut cream? Yeah, please. And then can I do the summer splash also?
Can I get the spring fling with vanilla cream instead of coconut cream. Can I have the beach babe too, please?
You're Caitlin Clark, right?
Maybe.
I have a golden mug I want to give you.
Golden
Mug means every time you come through, sir, you just get a free refill.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Wait, that's my favorite. It's the only one I've had, but I can tell it's gonna
This
be my
tastes like
favorite. This is the raspberry dream.
This tastes like a blue raspberry icy.
Yes.
This mine's better. Overall good, and he said he was gonna give us golden mugs. So
we'll be back.
Yeah.
Swig. Out of 10.
I mean, I've never been to a place like this before, so...
Its own category.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Listen carefully to how she frames Hull's contribution to the team. She credits Lexie with bringing a spark and a tenacity that maybe we weren't always getting on the defensive end. It's a backhanded compliment that simultaneously lifts Hull up and puts the rest of the team down, establishing herself as the ultimate arbiter of who is and isn't meeting her standards. It's the language of a CEO reviewing an employee, not a teammate celebrating a peer. This power imbalance was made painfully clear during the All-Star Weekend fiasco. When Clark's injury forced her out of the three-point contest, Hull was unceremoniously shoved into the spotlight as her replacement. The move was so last-minute that Hull had to admit, no practice, no practice. She was treated not as the next woman up, but as an emergency understudy, a convenient stand-in to keep the Caitlin Clark enterprise running smoothly. It was a brutal, public affirmation of her status. You exist in my shadow. You are here to serve my narrative. How long can any person tolerate being treated as a disposable part before they walk away from the machine entirely? The emotional distance created by this dynamic became a gaping chasm, and the evidence is as undeniable as it is heartbreaking. The point of no return came during a podcast interview, a moment of unguarded honesty that revealed everything. When asked if her supposed best friend, a global icon with unlimited access, would be getting her a ticket to the Taylor Swift concert, Hull's response was a masterclass in awkward pain. She confessed she didn't know, forcing a laugh and joking that someone's going to be upset if it didn't happen. Let the humiliation of that moment sink in. You are publicly known as the superstar's closest confidante, yet you have to resort to a public plea disguised as a joke just to get a concert ticket. That is not friendship. That is the sound of a relationship that is already over. It is the sound of someone who has already been left behind. Even their shared downtime appears to be meticulously staged to reinforce Hull's outsider status. The heavily publicized trip to Mexico was not the carefree girls' trip the media portrayed. The guest list tells the real story. Clark was there with her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey. Teammate Katie Lou Samuelson was also there with her partner. It was a couple's retreat, with Hull cast in the awkward role of the third wheel. Add in the stress of a personal crisis where her hair literally turned green from pool chemicals before a photo shoot, and you have the ingredients for an experience defined by anxiety and alienation, not bonding. These are the moments that don't build friendships. They expose them as hollow. They are the moments that make a person retreat, to pull away for their own sanity.
We play against guys during practice, we play against ourselves. But like if her team's not winning in a scrimmage or a drill, like she's competitive and she's gonna do everything she can to win. And I think it just shows the type of player she is. Like if it's not working, she's gonna try to figure it out. And you definitely want her on your side. Sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think like for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, like if I miss, she's definitely gonna say like, you got the next one. Like I can count on her for keeping me like confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
The tragic irony is that as Clark pushes everyone away, she herself feels trapped. You can see the crushing weight of her fame in every unguarded moment, like this awkward encounter in a drive-thru. While Hull films, Clark squirms, visibly uncomfortable with the celebrity that isolates her from any sense of normalcy. She is alone in a crowd, trapped in a gilded cage of her own making. The pressure is causing her to break down, to tap her head in frustration against the basket padding, to confess that her rookie season has been so challenging and frustrating. In her moment of greatest need, she requires a genuine support system. Instead, she is surrounded by the ghosts of friendships she herself has dismantled. Her teammates have not just turned on her, they have emotionally evacuated. They have abandoned the thankless, impossible job of managing her. The wholesome friendship is a fiction. The laughter is for the cameras. The truth is in the public shaming, the transactional treatment, the emotional voids, and the on-court tears. The truth is that Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in the WNBA, is now completely alone. The support system she once commanded lies in ruins, a casualty of her own actions and the suffocating pressure of an empire. Her teammates have rightfully saved themselves. Now, with no one left to manage her emotions, with no real friends to ground her, the question is no longer if a full-scale public collapse is coming, but when and who, if anyone, will be left to pick up the pieces.